tengo el honor de estar hoy entre todas vosotras y participando en este seminario, de 20 seminario de sonomía. Bueno, yo soy Embarca Hamoudi, soy miembro de una organización que se llama Femwise África, que es una red que se dedica a la mediación y a la prevención de conflictos y el empoderamiento de las mujeres en procesos de paz. Es una red que está por toda África y tiene su sede en Nairobi. Es un honor para mí hoy presentar a Marta Daud Luleka, quien ha tenido la amabilidad de aceptar nuestra invitación. Se habló en nombre de Sonomía también. Marta, os voy a dar pues, una breve síntesis de su currículum. Nos ha enviado un currículum súper extenso y lo hemos intentado de alguna manera resumir. Marta es una destacada consultora internacional en desarrollo y emprendeduría, con más de 40 años de experiencia en liderazgo, igualdad de género y desarrollo en programas en África. Ha trabajado con entidades como ONU Mujeres y el Parlamento Africano, promoviendo la inclusión de las mujeres en las políticas públicas y proyectos clave. Su trayectoria incluye el liderazgo de análisis de políticas con enfoque de género en Tanzania, fomentando la participación de las mujeres en los sectores empresarial y público. También ha desempeñado un papel fundamental en la Unión Africana, ayudando a integrar la perspectiva de género en sus planes estratégicos y fortaleciendo los derechos de las mujeres en el continente. Su compromiso y experiencia la convierten en una de las voces más importantes en la lucha contra la violencia de género y en el avance de la igualdad. Sin más preámbulos, les dejo con Marta Luleka. Adelante, Marta.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, Dr. Mbaka, for your introduction. I want to start my presentation by telling you my story of me being one of the victims who has suffered from the pains of gender-based violence. In 2004, I joined the Pan-African Parliament under the leadership of Dr. Gertrude Mongela, who was the president, the first president of the Pan-African Parliament. I was so excited to join this noble organization, and I wanted to dedicate my whole in serving this noble organization. So in 2005, I was made the first director of the Bureau of the Pan-African Parliament, where I was serving the president and 4 other vice presidents, serving the entire Bureau of the Pan-African Parliament. It was an exciting position. We were all happy, me and my family, and whoever was happy about this appointment. We were all very, very happy. However, as days went by, this job was very demanding. In the course of the process, I couldn't really balance well being a director at that demanding organization, but so also being a wife. So on the side of me being a wife, it started to be, I started to fail. I mean, not to fail, but you know, as African women, we are supposed to save our husbands. in a whole way, not, regardless which position you have. For me, it was quite difficult to balance. And I guess many women of top positions go through this kind of suffering, of challenge, of balancing family and the job position. So in 2008, I realized that our love was fading very fast. So I came to realize that he has moved on with another woman. So in the course of the entire process in 2009, we separated. Actually, we divorced. So I got my divorce in February. It was a painful situation, very, very painful situation. It took me over 4 years to recover from it. As if that was not enough, in May 2009, there was a change of leadership, bringing a new team, a new president and a new other vice presidents. So the new president wanted to have his own director of the bureau. So my contract was cut short by 18 months. I was told to move out of the parliament in end of September. So I did. So I lost my job, but I lost my marriage. It was very painful, very, very painful. And also I lost the 18 months, which I didn't have the opportunity to serve the parliament. So I lost 18 months salaries, which I wasn't paid until today. So you can imagine how painful it is. And I can also relate the whole entire process related to the society, but also to the institutional framework of gender-based violence. And hence, I really wanted to reflect on the pains of the victims of gender-based violence, because I'm one of the victims. In a nutshell, gender-based violence is a very broad subject. And hence, it is good if you pick one critical matter. And for me, I picked the pain of the victims. So gender-based violence is an umbrella term for any harmful act that is perpetrated against a person's will, and that is based on socially ascribed differences between males and females. It is painful to any victim. You can see that what it does to victims. It is a human rights, it points to human rights inequalities, but it is also a painful human rights violation. It is a painful phenomenon more to women and girls than anybody. In 1995, that's when the United Nations Fourth World Conference was held in Beijing from 4th to 15th September. This conference was championed by Dr. Gertrude Ibengwe Mongela, a politician from Tanzania. The conference was attended by 30,000 activists and 17,000 participants who looked at the world with women's eyes. And it resulted with the Beijing Platform for Action, a document which is quite valid and strong up until today. Now, the painful factors of gender-based violence. I looked at two factors. One is during emergencies, and the other is within the society and the institutional frameworks. Under the emergencies, you'll find the wars and conflicts, the natural disasters, but also the pandemic outbreaks like COVID, HIV, AIDS. But on the other side, you find the social cultural factors, also the legal factors, economic factors, and the gender blind policies, to mention a few. Pains during emergencies. During emergencies is when women take take double responsibilities of protection and feeding their families. And if you looked at many, many videos when war breaks in a certain region, you find women running with a lot of luggages, but also together with their children. And you hardly see men doing the same. But also the pains is the care of the affected. It's always a burden to women during pandemics like HIV and COVID. Creation of refuge camps being grounds to rape women and girls. And it results also to unwanted pregnancies emanating from these kind of rapes. There is also a story about a family which was invaded during these conflicts. Then 9 people entered the house and raped the lady in front of her children and the husband. And the children ran away. Equally, the husband had to run away. And he thought maybe the wife has died because of that painful rape. Few years later, the man came back to the village just to find out that his wife was became pregnant during the rape. So even the wife was in pain, not knowing who is the father of the child, because 9 people raped her. She couldn't know exactly who is the father. So when they met again, they cried, but then they were looking at this child, not not knowing whether to love or to hate the child. It brought a lot of pains until an NGO, an international NGO, came and took away the child. And God was great. The wife got pregnant. They made another baby. These are just examples of painful situations during emergencies like war. You can see this is Blengo settlement, which is in the Democratic Republic of Congo. You can see the way they live. These are just makeshift houses, and they are very vulnerable to diseases, to anything which might erupt. Pains of society and the institutional frameworks which I experienced. The gender roles, there are always an equal division of labor or responsibilities at any level in the society. Power role imbalances, unequal resource sharing and positions, be it economical, political, and all cultural. The patriarchy is still dominating our African life. Control of means of production. In Africa, land is a key because it employs majority of the people. However, it is under the control of the men, though women are majority employed in this sector. Control over means of reproduction. Giving birth is a condition to any marriage. If you don't give birth to a child, in particular a boy, then your marriage is in trouble, and the wife will be the one suffering from this situation. And also economic gaps. In any marriage where economic gains are not well harnessed, create relationship frictions leading to GBV. Educational gaps, mostly when women are disadvantaged in terms of education, men being at the top. Whether men or women get better economically, men feel uncomfortable, and so they assault their women. If you look at this map of Africa, it is patched with how serious domestic violence against women is. The darker the color is where the domestic violence against women is rampant. Acknowledgeable efforts in the prevention processes. The African Union has a strong peace and security commission a standing decision-making organ for prevention, management, and the resolution of conflicts in Africa. Under the PSC, there is a woman envoy, Madame Benita Diop. And also we have other efforts of national and country initiatives. Madame Benita Diop is a special envoy on women, peace and security, who pioneered the establishment of FemWise Africa, a network that promotes the role of African women in conflict prevention, mediation, and peacemaking. There is also the Elise Initiative Fund, a fund hosted by UN Women that provides financial incentives and support to increase the number of uniformed women peacekeepers. Remember, peacekeeping is not well gender mainstreamed. That's why you find there are more men than women. There is also the High-Level Action African Forum on Women, Peace and Security, a forum that discusses approaches to promote women's involvement in peace process. Recently, this high-level African Forum on Women, Peace and Security set in Angola, Luanda, where I also happened to have attended. They were discussing the situation in Congo, DRC. Some national institutions engaging in GBV preventions. We have Women's Network for Peace in Liberia. We have also One Stop Center in Rwanda. We have Bring Back Our Girls in Nigeria. We have also Women Fund Tanzania Trust empowering local women heroes. To what extent is gender-based violence declining? The answer is yes and no. The seriousness of this problem is now recognized widely because women are now much aware of their human rights than before. Yes. The Beijing Women Plan of Actions and the subsequent annual UN conferences of the status of women held annually in New York around February or March has enlightened worldwide of the progress made in many countries. Yes, the AU Peace and Security Council, a commission is playing a pivotal role. But also the hindrance is why we say no and yes. Now you find that domestic violence is likely to triple in the sub-Saharan Africa due to climate change. Heat waves and extreme temperatures are associated with the increase of domestic violence. From 48 million women in 2015, it will rise to 140 million in 2060, as per UNFPA. But also natural disasters caused by global warming will force population displacement, women in particular. And then there will be food shortages. Funding also, that's a problem. Underfunding of the UN on addressing gender-based violence by funding only 0.2% of the total funds, as per UN reports, is also a big challenge. There is also insufficient gender analysis leading to incorrect or weak GBV interventions during emergencies, according to Oxfam. So it means that sometimes the support goes without a proper gender analysis because it's emergency. So organizations jump into rescuing people without doing a gender analysis, sometimes becoming an incorrect interventions. While pain is felt almost the same way, a positive shift is being gained against GBV pain. Transparency is high in sharing of what happens around the world. The UN Commission of Status of Women, CSW, sits annually. Next year, 2025, it will be about CSW 69 on Beijing plus 30. Sharing of good practices is high. Creation of awareness of different community levels, including at schools, is going on very well. Demonstration through group discussions in meetings, conferences, at different gathering is also a very positive way of addressing this. GBV pain is a human right violation. So we say no to assault on human dignity, depriving people of their human rights. We say no to undermine a person's sense of self-worth and self-esteem. We say no to any kind of discrimination of any kind as it affects one's dignity, mental health, and may lead to self-harm, isolation, depression, and suicidal attempts sometimes. We say no to further victimization by raping, sexual coercion of women and girls in war-torn countries. Please help me to shout no, no, no to any kind of GBV anywhere at any time. Thank you so much.